What up? What's good, people? What is up? What is they went from the fourth level of hell and sent us down to the seventh level of hell. Why? Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties, and these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits. What?
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really hello, casting, wardrobe, y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not going to see it? We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, baby, you ate on this first date, you giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Well, you gonna run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's our new theme song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. This what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Ooh, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitches was going to stop. I thought Lil Bird was going to turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lou and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation by trying to find out if Lil Murder was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitches was probably fucking in prison. Girl. Uncle Cliff, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. Well, he had it on look like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had on way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Yala Van Zap's neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup clumped in everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. And you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. Yeah. Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the three kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see it. Hit me up in my DMs. I do want to see if you have a blue thong or a blue jock strap or something like that. I'd love to see it too. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck. Now, Troy.
I'm coming. Give me a second. Oh, Lord. I blame y'all. I blame y'all. I blame y'all. Y'all are to blame. It is cold outside. Anyway, zip up my jacket, grab a snack. And then we'll be ready to come on camera. I blame y'all. I blame y'all. Oh, I need my laptop. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I blame y'all. I totally blame y'all. Y'all did this. This is all y'all fault. All y'all fault. Not my fault. It's y'all fault. You'll take the blame for it. Say hey to y'all while I'm here. Oh, hey everybody. Hey.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Hey, budgets, weights. Hey, hey, Cams. Hey, hey, Diva One. Hey, everyone. Hey, Peaches. Feel like I ain't seen you in a minute, boo. Where you been hiding? Where have you been hiding, boo? Peaches, did you put your information in that post on the community wall so you could be a part of the members only Instagram? If you are not a part of the members only Instagram, you are clearly missing out. We be having so much going on over there. You are clearly missing out. It's worth it, just child. Oh, you've been in the bushes, okay. But don't forget that to send me your information so I can make you a part of the members only Instagram. It's so much fun over there. They be clowning. It's so much fun. Then, even if I'm not here, you can be a part of the insanity 7 days a week. Anyway, um, y'all, the dossier today, the dossier ain't that bad. Shout out to Silly Saturday, which will be back on Saturday. We will be here on Saturday for Silly Saturday. Never fear, I will be here. Anyway, so the dossier today is quite packed. Oh, and yeah, not quite. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. It's not packed. However, we got some heavy lifting to do today. Thanks to Quintessential, we bought the big bag of Albanese. Thank you, Quintessential, for your donation to the snack fund. But we'll be back on schedule. Silly Saturday is scheduled for today. I mean, this week is scheduled for next week as well. The following week, yeah, I think it's scheduled for the following week as well. So we should have Silly Saturday for the next 3 weeks. We should have Silly Saturday for the next 3 weeks. I know that's the plan. That is the plan. Silly Saturday for the next 3 weeks. Anyway, I look like a nun with this on like this. Just call him. I'll call him back. All right. So anyway, really B will be live. We won't be here long. I got y'all for about a good hour, hour and 15, and we'll get off here by like 5:30. Mods, hall monitors. Our time today. Uh, oh, I almost couldn't get it out. I almost choked. I went down the wrong pipe. Mm. Our time today is 5:40. So at 5:41, hall monitors, please monitor the doors, monitor the hallways. Okay. At 5:41, y'all know what to do. 3,000 words today. 3,000. My essay is 3,000 words today. Don't ask me no questions. Don't ask no questions. We're not selling no hall passes. So if Tracy come in here, talk about we selling hall passes, she lying. We ain't selling no hall passes today. Listen, look, I only got 5 stories in the dossier today. However, comma, all of them, all of them are likely to make me spike out. So, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary gender conforming members of our audience, it is now time for your sugar spike moment. You see, this is the part that I like.
Major sugar spike.
So love the world. I want to fight. That he gave, his only begotten son.
Major sugar spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major sugar spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus. Listen, I'm gonna have to play it again. I'm gonna play it. We're gonna do a double dose because it's a lot going on in the dossier today, and everything is sugar spike invoking. So yeah, we're gonna have to have a double dose. No, Mia, you good. Mia, you are good so far. Now, some people might not be good in a few minutes, but just because of everything going on in the dossier today, we got to do a double dose of the song. Double dose.
You see, this is the part that I like.
Major sugar spike.
So love the world. I want to fight. That he gave, his only begotten son.
Major sugar spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major sugar spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus. Anyway, so let's start here. So the name that we need to remember. Listen, Cams, the funny part is that is sped up. The original is slower and it's like 4 minutes long. That's like a small snippet of an original that's like 4.5 minutes long. And slower. And it's everything. One day I might play it. One day. All right, y'all. So the next name that we need to learn in the onward quest of America's genocide against Black people, specifically Black men in and about this country. The next name that we need to speak and remember is a man by the name of Rasheem Carter. Rasheem Carter. Rasheem is his first name. His last name is Carter. Carter. Rasheem Carter. We say his name. We speak his name. Let me give you this story. The family of a young Black man of a young Black father found dead a month after telling his mother he was being pursued and feared for his life, is demanding justice and a federal investigation. Rasheem Carter, 25, was reported missing on October 2nd after his mother said he'd called the police for assistance before contacting her. Panicked that white men in 3 trucks were chasing him and hurling racial slurs, according to NBC News. Authorities found his remains a month later on November 2nd in a wooded area near Taylorsville, Mississippi. The Smith County Sheriff's Department released a Facebook statement the following day saying that Carter's death was under investigation, but they had no reason to suspect foul play. His family, however, isn't convinced. During a press conference on Monday, Carter's family members and their attorney, civil rights lawyer Ben Crump, blasted the local government for stalling their investigation for over 4
months. They said they think he was a victim of a vicious hate crime. Quote, there is nothing natural about this. It screams out for justice. What we have is a Mississippi lynching. And that is what Ben Crump said to NBC reporters. Crump, who wants the Justice Department to take over the case and launch a civil rights investigation, released images of Carter's skeletal remains on Monday. The attorney told reporters he believed somebody detached Carter's head and spinal cord, which authorities allegedly discovered away from his body. Carter is also alleged to have been missing his front teeth from his top and bottom rows. Chief Tommy Cox of the Laurel Police Department dispensed Carter's missing person report and said they took up the case quickly after his family requested help. However, Cox said Carter didn't contact his office before going missing. The Laurel Police turned over its investigation to the Smith County Sheriff's Department once it became apparent the case fell outside its jurisdiction. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, which supports the sheriff's inquiry but is not actively investigating, said Carter's autopsy was completed on February 2nd. Mind you, he would admit they put out the missing persons report October 2nd, and the body was found November 2nd, and they just completed the autopsy on February 2nd. Now, the last time I checked, it don't take 1, 2, 3 months to do an autopsy. Because if it was found in November, that means February 2nd will be 3 months afterward. It don't take that long to do a damn autopsy. A mess. While Carter's family, where am I? While Carter's family believes the condition of the remains could be a sign of a physical attack, authorities allegedly claim that wild animals must have ripped apart his body. That's what we're doing. Let me keep reading. According to Tiffany Carter, her son was building. I'm sorry, let me go. I went too far. Yokina Anderson, a cousin of Carter's mother, Tiffany Carter, implied that she wasn't convinced by the authorities' theory that, quote, he went there and fell dead and the animals were feeding off him, noting that he was in, quote, so many different pieces. Carter's mother contended that during their final phone calls, her son was clear about the threats he faced, was not on drugs or intoxicated, and had no mental illness in his history. According to Tiffany Carter, her son was building savings to relaunch the seafood eatery they owned, which he named after his daughter. The business closed its doors due to the pandemic. Quote, they thought this was going to be a child no one cared about. No one cared anything about. They're clearly mistaken because he was somebody. That's what Mrs. Carter said about her son, vowing not to stop asking for answers. Carter was reportedly working a temporary contract welding job in Taylorsville, located about 100 miles west of Fayette, where he lived. His mother said he had a disagreement with at least one of his coworkers in October and ran out of fear for his life. Quote, this was a nefarious act. This was an evil act. Somebody murdered Rasheem Carter, and we cannot let them get away with this. Listen, the man's head and spinal cord were away from his body. You find Janae. I'm glad you're here, Janae, but you ain't late yet now. In about 12, 13 minutes, couple people may find themselves with some good essays, but you ain't late today.
Hall monitors. Remember, my time is 5:40. Hall monitors. All y'all people in the bushes who claim y'all in the bushes, y'all got until 5:40 to come out the bushes and make sure I know you here. Otherwise, you're gonna be late. Look at Spicy Original falling out the bushes. Hey, Spicy Original. Hey, Janae. Just a mess. Hey, Morgan. Look at everybody falling out the bushes. Ow. Ooh, child. Y'all better fall out them good bushes. Fall out the bushes, honey. Fall out them good bushes. Hey, y'all. Hey. Hey, Spicy Original. Hey, Morgan. Hey, Janae. Y'all silly. Y'all is silly. Hey, Miss Sharon, look at them. Look at them. They falling out the bushes. We shaking the tree. Shaking the tree. They falling out. But seriously, y'all, I told y'all we had a sugar spike field segment. I thank y'all for giving me a laugh because this story is really serious. This young man called his mother. It reminds me of something Al Sharpton said when they had the hey Belo. Um, I don't even know how you got blocked, Belo, but I'm glad we found it out and we got you out of there and you here now. Let me peek my head out of the bushes. Hey, lovely True Red. Hey, everybody popping out the bushes. Hey, y'all. So here's the deal. Al Sharpton said this during the Tyree Nichols trial. He said there is something about a black person, man, woman, boy, girl, cat, dog. Well, I guess if it's cat, dog, they wouldn't be a black person. But a black person, man, woman, boy, girl, non binary, gender conforming, when they are in life threatening situations, when they are in fear, anytime they feel that it's something that they know they can't get out of, the first thing they call out for is their mother. I'm telling you, that's what happens. They calling for their mama. They calling for their mama. They are gonna call for their mama. And that thing stuck with me when Al Sharpton said it. Because that thing stuck with me. Because think about it. Whenever we find ourselves in a situation, you calling for your mama. You call it. You call him. And that black man was running for his life. He knew he was in imminent danger. He knew that there was an existential threat on him being here. Lemon, laminectomies? No, am I? I don't think I am. So, so when that young man thought that he was about to die, he called his mama. Mama, I'm running. I don't know. I don't know if. Well, I guess indirectly we are discussing this, discussing laminectomies. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, mama, but I am afraid these white men in three trucks are following me, and I don't know. Next thing we know, the mom calls the sheriff, the police, and say my son is missing. That was on October 2nd. He called y'all, tell y'all that he was afraid for his life. They didn't find the body until November 2nd. The head and spinal cord were removed from the body in the middle of a wooded area. Now let's be clear. Black people, we're not just going and just gonna say, oh, I'm just gonna pop up in these woods for no reason. We ain't the camping type. Let's just be clear. That ain't our stilo. We ain't just deciding, oh, I'm about to go camping in the middle of some goddamn woods. If we feel ourselves in fear for our safety, the woods ain't the place that we going. We don't watch too many goddamn scary movies, and we know ain't a goddamn good thing happening in the middle of the fucking woods. We don't do no goddamn woods. Black people ain't going to no woods. Listen, that shit is embedded in our DNA. Why? Because during slavery times, our ancestors died in the middle of the goddamn woods trying to free themselves. The voices of our dead ancestors speak to us and say, baby, don't come out here to these good woods. Millions, and I do mean millions of us have died in the middle of a goddamn woods. That's why in goddamn scary movies, it was by design. They always had us going into the woods to be goddamn killed, to remind you what happened to our ancestors. It is not a coincidence. So our black asses ain't trying to go nowhere near no goddamn woods, no goddamn camping, and nothing in wooded fucking areas. Hell. So the police in this little ass Taylorsville, Mississippi, having the audacity to concoct this story, said, oh, there's no evidence of foul play when a man's head and spine were separated from his body. And y'all were like, oh, he magically found himself in the middle of the woods and died just of natural causes. He just up and died. And then wild animals magically came and started to pull apart his body. That's the story y'all want us to believe in 2023. This is how you know some of these backwoods town areas, they're not here in the 21st century with us. Because no regular person, no true real law enforcement officer is gonna come up and say, "Oh yeah, mind you, we over here." That sounds like a credible story. Yeah, they're gonna believe that. They're gonna believe that. Just tell him he just magically fell dead in the middle of the woods and just wild animals came and started picking his body apart after he called his mama saying, "I'm afraid for my safety because three trucks filled with white men are coming after me." But yeah, that's gonna sound plausible. They'll believe that. Rasheem Carter is the young man's name. We need to speak his name. We need to say it. We need to be firing off letters to our local congressmen and senators saying somebody down to the FBI, the Justice Department, somewhere needs to be looking into what happened to Rasheem Carter. You got a whole murder and homicide that took place. And ain't nobody looking for it. Y'all just want us to believe that this man dropped dead in the middle of the woods just magically. Able-bodied, grown, 25-year-old man just magically dropped dead in the middle of the woods. In the middle of the woods. And then, oh yeah, all of these animals came and started picking his body apart. When the last time you saw animals that said, "Oh, my body part of choice is the spine because I don't want the meat." We don't need the meat. No, 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 no. We don't need no parts of this meat. No ass, no thighs, no stomach. I want the head and the spine because those are the two body parts that we go for first. It's not how that works. Fuck out of here. Mind you, oh, and of course, don't forget his teeth were missing as well. So magically, they now, and this is something that I learned from a friend of mine who went to dental school. When you go to dental school, the one thing they learn about black people is that they have very strong bones, and they teach them in dental school. When and if you work on black people, it's much harder than any other race of people because they have very strong bones. Their teeth are very strong, and it's very hard to get their teeth out. So they talk about in stories of torture and things when and if they work with torturing a black person with their teeth. It's much more painful because their teeth are harder to get knocked out. It's harder to pull a black person's teeth. That is real. I'm not making this up. You can go look it up. It's all scientific. It's there. So for you to have knocked this man's teeth out, meaning the top and bottom part of his teeth, what it sounds like to me, you took something hard, a bat or something, a hammer or something, and literally had to put some force behind it and knock them bad boys out. That's not something animals do. That's not consistent with animals. Thank you, Janae. Janae is our scientific expert, always, in the chat. Listen, this is not, this does not happen, you know, naturally. Animals aren't doing this. When animals eat, if you notice, most carnivores leave the bones intact. They eat the meat off the bones, and you find whole skeletons still intact. This was a torture. See, I'm gonna tell you what happened. That man's body was so mutilated. They sat and waited on it. Because if they would have let it get out or no in November, just a month, it would have still had it still would have had a lot going on, and it would have been so gruesome that everybody around the country would have been looking. It would have looked like the picture I told y'all about last week with Khalil Azad. But they waited and sat on him. That man's probably been dead for 4 months because remember he went missing in October, so it's been 4 months. This is a mess. This is a complete and utter mess. His name is Rasheem Carter. He was 25 years old. He lived in Fayette, Mississippi, but was working in Taylorsville, Mississippi. Rasheem is spelled Rasheem. Carter is his last name. We need to know his name. We need to say his name. We need to speak his name, and we need to be hearing more about it. I'm very surprised I haven't heard more about this case. I'm very surprised that I haven't heard more about this case. I usually try and stay on the front end of these types of things, but this is the first that I'm hearing of it. We're going to keep you posted as things come across my desk about that, but that was quite disheartening. Quite disheartening. In more news, because I'm sorry. Hey, China White. Oh, it's 5:41. Hey, China White. Hall monitor, hall monitors. China White, you my boo. Hey, boo. So glad you're here. It's 5:42. All monitors. China White been here a long time with me, y'all. China White been here a long time with the L-27s right here. We love her. So listen. Good. You was in the principal's office. I hope that principal gave you a no. I ain't got no email from this good principal. All right, because it's not going to get any better, people. It's not going to get any better. Plus, the CSI and medical examiner can determine the cause of death and how the cause of death happened if they truly investigate the way they should. Exactly. That's just like the Hispanic guy who they shot to death over here in Atlanta, over by Cop City. He had the name. Oh God, the name of the boy. Hispanic boy they just shot, who the police said he shot at them, but the medical examiner determined that his feet were in a cross-folded position and his hands were up when from the bullet trajectory. And the cop that was saying that he was shot, the ballistics matched the ballistics of the police, meaning it was friendly fire from the police. The boy never shot at them. His name is Tutu. Hold on, I gotta look at this boy name. Boy shot at Cop City, Atlanta. His name was I can't think of the name. It started with a T. Tutu something. Hold on, because he had a nickname. It was little Hispanic boy. Well, he was non-binary. He went by them day. His name was because they trying to get the body footage released. Young little Hispanic boy. He was like 25, 26. It's the boy name. He went by a nickname. Shit. Hold on. I gotta find this. Tortuguita. There we go. Tortuguita. Couldn't think of the man's name. Tortuguita is what they called him. His name was Emmanuel Esteban Paez Tedan. But Tortuguita. Hey, so Jeff. It's 5:40. 5:44. Y'all. Hall monitors. But Tortuguita. But in the same way, like you said, if they want to, they can investigate this. Rasheem Carter was murdered in the most gruesome and brutal fashion imaginable. The man's head and spine was detached from his body. And y'all gonna say, oh, a 25-year-old, perfectly healthy black man, no mental illness, not on no drugs, not under the influence of anything, went and magically the black man decided to go into the woods by himself, magically just fell out dead, and then animals started picking apart his body parts because the animals thought it was a good idea to, strategically knock out his front teeth, both top row and bottom rows, because that's what animals do, right? Because the animals thought it was a good idea to detach his head and his spine from his body and carry it away from the body. Everybody say they got an excuse from the principal's office. You the second one, Harold, talk about, oh, I got a note from the principal's office. We waiting to see this good note. Rasheem Carter was brutally murdered. And those people down to Taylorsville, Mississippi, don't want us to know what happened to him. They don't want us to see the body. They don't want us to know. This shit happened in October. It's fucking March. This shit happened in October. It's March. But y'all say there's no evidence of foul play. The man called his mama running from these white men in 3 trucks. Rasheem Carter is his name. Remember that name, Rasheem Carter. It's not going to get any better, y'all. The story. So we need to know. It's not going to get no better. It's not going to get any better. So here you go.
You see, this is the part that I like.
Major sugar spike.
So now, I want to fight. That he gave, his only begotten son.
Major sugar spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major sugar spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus. I just love what he say. This is my part, right? This is my favorite part right here. I don't know. Hey, Miss Kiki. Hey, boo. Listen. Anytime we get ready to set anything on, it be some of our own people. No, you can't do that. They wouldn't like us to protest like that. No, that's too much. No, we have to pick. Even toward the end of his life, Martin Luther King even admitted that peaceful protest didn't seem to be getting us a whole lot of places. In more sugar spiky news, in the great state of Virginia, oh, hey, Miss Kiki, it's 5:49, y'all. 5:49. Hall monitors. So, in the great state of Virginia, we have more trouble with education. Normally, this would have been something we did on Teacher Project 2.0, but tomorrow we have a special Teacher Project 2.0. We have a special Teacher Project 2.0 show where we're going to be interviewing the guy from Chase and Dallas, Sean from Chase and Dallas, and go over some education stuff with him. So I'm going to cover some little bit of as Ebby would say, teachery stuff here today. So in the great state of Virginia, we got some issues. Hey, Tanya, boo. You been in the nurse's office? Okay. Did the nurse bring your hall pass? She wrote your pass? Everybody claim they got a pass today. If it ain't the principal's office, it's the nurse, it's the counselor. You know, everybody has somewhere to be. Everybody just found a way to be somewhere during my class. And child. Yeah. All right, so here's what happened in Virginia. Virginia's largest school system in in Falls Church, near the Fairfax area, is removing a test question given to a college-level social studies class that equated liberals and conservatives with specific racial and gender demographics. I'm an office aide, so the principal really did write me an excuse. Child, you an office aide? What you aiding the principal with? Because you know we got a male principal around here, Harold. Mr. Jackson is Dr. Jackson, excuse me, is our principal. So you what you aiding Dr. Jackson with? You aiding him by yourself? What you aiding him with, Harold? At least Tanya said I was with the nurse. I'm more inclined to believe you coming from the nurse because you might have been sick. Maybe you was throwing up or something like that. You came from the principal office. You his aide. What are you aiding and assisting him with? Let me find out. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming and back to the dossier. In the dossier today. So in Fairfax County, Virginia's largest school system is removing a test question given to a college-level social studies class that equated liberals and conservatives with specific racial genders and demographics. The question appeared on a test given to students of an AP government class at Fairfax County Public Schools online campus. The multiple choice question asked students, quote, which of the following is an accurate comparison of liberals versus conservatives? End quote. That was the test question. The test question was, which of the following is an accurate comparison of liberals versus conservatives. The potential answers for liberals included, quote, young white males, middle-aged urban lesbian, college-educated black male professional, and white upper middle class suburban male. Those are your options. Young white males, middle-aged urban lesbian, college educated black male professional, and white upper middle class suburban male. For potential answers for conservatives included East Coast Ivy League educated scientist, Southern male migrant laborer, Catholic Middle Western middle aged male, and West Coast Hispanic teacher. You do realize that this is the great state of, I'm sorry, the Commonwealth of Virginia, holy see of racism in the 1800s, and the capital of the Confederacy. Rory Cooper, a Fairfax County parent and school system critic who posted the question on Twitter, said it was offensive. Quote, it's one thing for adults to analyze demographic trends. It's another to tell students that their identity defines their political philosophy. That's what he said. The school system said in a statement that the question will be removed from future tests because it, quote, did not meet the division's high expectations, end quote. It also said all test questions administered to students in the AP Government online campus class will now be reviewed. The state said the question was, quote, designed to assess 12th graders' understanding of American political ideology. The test is part of an AP or advanced placement class that allows high school students to earn college credit if they score well on a final exam. While the question was part of an AP class, it was not created by the College Board, which administers the AP program nationally. In a tweet, the College Board said the question is, quote, antithetical to the content and format of an AP question, end quote. Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears weighed in as well, criticizing the assumptions the question makes about who is liberal and who is conservative. She has frequently bristled at outsiders' political assumptions about Black women that are at odds with her stance as a conservative Republican and military veteran. Here's the problem. Let me cut to the chase. The problem is that the question was way too real. And the question put a mirror up against American demographics, American political diaspora. There's the problem. Because America does not like mirrors in America walks around her house with no mirrors. There's no mirrors. Baby, they don't even like their own windows to reflect their image. So they got curtains and blinds all over their windows. They want nothing reflecting who they are. Baby, they don't even keep a glass of water too long sitting on the table because it might start to reflect an image of who and what they are and look like. They don't even want you to polish the floors too much and have it too shiny so that its decrepit image is reflected back at it. And they're like Mum Ra from Thundercats. If you're an old school cartoon watcher, you knew the one thing that could always get Mum Ra from Thundercats was showing him an image of his ugly ass face. It was so scary that it scared him back into his sarcophagus. And America is the same way. When you put the image of her up against who her and make her look at it, she'll want to see it. And now what's the problem with this question? Now that's AP government. Of course they want no parts of AP African American Studies. Oh no. Child, did Miss Mumra used to gag when she saw herself, baby? Baby mama thought she was fine as fuck once she had the transform. Ancient spirits of evil transform this decayed form into Mumra, the ever living. And mama transformed and thought she was turning it, baby. Mama thought she had done turned it until they show that woman a good reflection. Hey, bitch, this is what you really look like. And that would scare that bitch back into her sarcophagus. That's what America is. Let me give you these let me give you the choices again, okay? Let me give you the choices again. Y'all want me to give you the choices again? Okay. Here is your choices for liberals. Young white males, middle-aged urban lesbian, college educated black male professional, white upper middle class suburban male. Here is, hey, quintessential, your options for conservatives. East Coast Ivy League educated scientist, Southern male migrant laborer, Catholic Midwestern middle-aged male, West Coast Hispanic teacher. A mess. A mess. America is Mum Ra. Mum Ra. That's what America is. The ever living. I'm not surprised. We ain't got that much longer. Let me keep going because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Um, in other news, in more news of states not doing what they're supposed to do, Republicans in the great state of South Carolina said, wait a goddamn minute. It's a whole lot of shit going on around this country with a whole lot of racism, bigotry, and discrimination. Y'all over here talk about Florida and Texas, Arkansas, Virginia, even over there to Arizona and shit, Mississippi and shit. And y'all must have forgot who the fuck we are. We are South Carolina. Nobody, and I mean nobody, does discrimination and bigotry like the great state of South Carolina. Oh no. Oh no. So South Carolina said, well, let me show the people who we are. In the great state of South Carolina, Republican lawmakers are contemplating making a change to the state's criminal code that will punish a person who gets an abortion with the death penalty. Let that lay right there. Mm. Ooh, what flavor that is. Riptide Rush. That's the first sentence of the article. That's all I read was one sentence. You want me to read? Let me read the first sentence of this article for y'all again. In South Carolina, Republican lawmakers are contemplating making a change to the state's criminal code that would punish a person who gets an abortion with the death penalty. What do y'all want me to do with that? What do you want me to do with that? Hey, Montrez Jones, boo. Hey, boo. Hall monitors, hall monitors. Hey, Montrez Jones, boo. How you doing? Hey, boo, where you coming from? Hey, have a seat. Hall monitors. Hey, girl. Glad to have you up here. Hall monitors, hall monitors, hall monitors. Hey, boo. Y'all know I love y'all. All right. The bill called the South Carolina Prenatal Equal Protection Act of 2023 would amend the state's code of laws redefining person to include a fertilized egg at the point of conception, affording that zygote equal protection under the homicide laws of the state, up to and including the death penalty. Go back and watch my old videos. Go back and watch the fact that we said this was going to happen. We called this. We told you that the snowball was careening down the mountain. There's no stopping. The snowball had already started careening down the mountain. This is really happening. Let me keep going. Representative Rob Harris wrote the bill, and so far it has attracted 21 co-sponsors. Let me say that again for you. Oh, this is happening. Representative Rob Harris wrote the bill, and so far it has attracted 21 co-sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, there is your blueprint. Because you know this is going to get the fast track through the South Carolina legislature. And once they get this into law, or gets close enough to being made into law, what is it going to do? Sweep the nation. The blueprint has been set. A mess. The bill, however, provides an exception for pregnant women who underwent abortion, quote, because she was compelled to do so by the threat of imminent death or great bodily injury, end quote. It also provides an exception if the procedure is needed to avert the death of a mother, quote, when all reasonable alternatives to save the life of the unborn child were attempted and none were available, end quote. Abortion is currently legal in South Carolina up to 21 weeks and 6 days. A 2021 ban outlawing abortion at 6 weeks was struck down by the state Supreme Court in January. In addition, the proposed bill does not provide an exception for rape or incest. Let me say again, the proposed bill does not provide an exception for rape or incest. Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina said on the House floor last week that, quote, to see this debate go to the dark places, the dark edges, where it has gone on both sides of the aisle has been deeply disturbing to me as a woman, as a female legislator, as a mom, and as a victim of rape, end quote. She continued on by saying, quote, I was raped as a teenager at the age of 16. This debate ought to be a bipartisan debate where we balance the rights of women and we balance the right to life. But we aren't having that conversation here in DC. We aren't having that conversation at home. We aren't having that conversation with fellow state lawmakers. I tried to tell y'all this wasn't going to get any better. So what you're saying is, if I have an accident, right, maybe me and Rufus decide we're going to have a romp in the hay. I have a good condom. I get this condom, slap this condom on Rufus, and we start to get it in. That condom busts. without my knowledge or his knowledge. And even if it is with my knowledge, and even if he does pull out, there's still the chance that some of the good could be up in there. Because remember, pre-cum contains sperm. People don't realize, put that connection together. That pre-cum contains sperm. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Pre-cum contains sperm. And I get pregnant. I'm not even going to the extremes of rape and or incest. I'm not going to go to the extreme of the fact that in some of these backwoods of South Carolina, you got 40 something year old men raping and committing incest on their 7 and 8 year old relatives, some of which are already on a period. And that child, and there are cases of this 8 year old little girl pregnant by a relative. That child's body is not even built or equipped to push a child out and could have irreparable damage on her body. But I ain't going to that extreme. I'm going to the extreme. I'm not going to go to the extreme of a woman, of the countless numbers of cases of women being brutally abducted and forcefully raped in rooms, several men, to the point where her whole bottom is raw and the baby comes out of there and you have no clue of trying to figure out who even the father is. But you're telling this woman that every day for the next 40 weeks, she has to relive that trauma by watching this baby, come to fruition. Because we don't care about her mental well being. We don't care that she could have irreparable mental duress because of this. Mind you, these are the same people who don't want to properly fund government programs that are needed to properly feed some of these children that after they're born, house some of these children after they're born, see to it that they have great public schools, see to it that they have post secondary education available to them. See to it that they're not the victims of racial injustices, discrimination, and bigotry. They want no parts of taking care of this, of the well-being of this person after they're born. But baby, the moment the daddy skeets up in them, oh, if you do anything to that, you're gonna die. I just want to make it make sense. I'm just trying to keep track of all of this now. I'm just trying to make sure I understand. This what y'all. Anybody here live in the great state? Do I have anybody in here that lives in the great state of South Carolina, Columbia, Charleston? Them like the only two cities I know in South Carolina. Let me think. Um, I only know like two cities in South Carolina, Columbia and Charleston. Those are the only two cities I know in South Carolina. Let me think. Yeah, I don't know no other states in South. Anybody else live? Anybody here? They live in the great state of South Carolina? I just am asking. Y'all need to do something about this. I don't got time to labor long on this. We're gonna move forward, but this is happening. Really happening. And we sure are, Morgan. You ain't lying. I'm in the not so great state of Alabama. I don't even know how you making it over there, Harold. But they did tell me that the peen over in Alabama is legendary, baby. They say y'all they built like stallions over there. That might be why you staying over there. Maybe they say the dicks in Alabama are legendary, but the racism is legendary as well. So you got to weigh your options. Good meat, good racism. Which you could, which one is more important? I'm just saying. In other news, this is the funniest shit I've seen in a while. Y'all's boy, New York Representative George Santos, the embattled freshman Republican who has faced a slew of scandals following his elections, has filed paperwork to run again in 2024. Now, today is the final day to file for your candidacy in 2024 with the Federal Elections Commission for him. He filed because that young man said, "Well, I'm here now, and ain't nothing y'all can do." And Kevin McCarthy, America's ass clown, ain't gonna do nothing about it. So we'll be dealing with him. Well, I don't know. The great people of New York may say, "Girl, girl, girl, you slipped through the cracks. Girl, you slid that in, baby. You won't get a second chance, baby. You will not get that second chance, baby." His own party in New York has been calling for his resignation and ouster. Well, Mama don't went and filed paperwork so she could steal more campaign funds. Somebody's going to back her. Mama is going to be around here stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign funds again, like she did this time, lying about who she is. We still don't know the bitch name. He might as well, Harold. Might as well. I mean, right? But just ways they let anybody run. Everybody just get to run. Just anybody run. Just a mess. Just a damn mess. I didn't want to spend that much time on that. I just wanted to let y'all know. So Jeff, you live up there in New York. You need to go ahead and handle that. Y'all know what to do. If Mama makes it out of the primaries down there to the great state of New York, I blame you, Jeff. I don't even know if you in her district, but still, I'm still gonna blame you and Tracy Chabelle. Let Mama make it out this goddamn um out of the great state of New York's Republican primary for that. Why, first of all, it was a travesty that that district flipped from blue to red. Whatever. Anyway, child. Right. Even her own party don't want no parts of her. None at all, honey. Our featured presentation for today, our featured story for today, of course, comes down to the state of Florida. Because why will we have a sugar spiky live without the great state of Florida? You can't have a live filled with sugar spikes that does not involve the great state of Florida. So, this is Florida House Bill 999. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. I know in the 13 minutes that I have left on this live, I won't be able to fully unpack this like I want to. I want to make sure we get over there to really be. However, I do want to bring some things to your attention so that you can go and start to look some of this stuff up and do your own research, and then you can come back and we can discuss some more. Now, as y'all can see, I've been doing everything in my power. I went live yesterday. I went live today. Tomorrow we have the live with Really Be and Teacher Project 2.0. So I probably won't go live tomorrow. But Thursday I'll probably go live again. Friday I'll go live again. I'm trying to be here for y'all. I'm here for y'all. And then we have Silly Sat. Well, I don't know if I'm going to go live on Friday because we have the interview with Justice League. But we have Silly Saturday. So I'm going to go live Thursday, at least. We might can discuss this further. So, so we have House Bill 999. Now, this is a bill that attacks diversity, equity, and inclusion on college campuses. And now people are fearing that it would regulate student campus activities at Florida colleges. That's why in the headline, I mean, I put a when I shared this video out, I said all Divine Nine get in here, because if you're a member of the Divine Nine, people are saying that this could impact you. Let me read this. The controversial House Bill 999 aims HB 999 aims to restrict the programs and activities that Florida universities and colleges can promote or support. It calls into question student organizations, groups, or activities centered on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let me read that sentence again for you. It calls into question student organizations, groups, or activities centered on diversity, equity, and inclusion. WPTV explored what the bill says and why some legislators are raising red flags. Line 341 of the bill aims to prohibit universities or colleges from using any funds to promote, support, maintain, or any programs or campus activities that support or adopt diversity, equity, and inclusion. That line is raising red flags for some Florida legislators. Representative Yvonne Henson, Democrat of Gainesville, asked at a recent House committee hearing, quote, what campus activities are you attempting to regulate, end quote. Henson, who serves part of Alachua and Marion counties, laid out her concerns and question to the bill's sponsor, State Representative Alex Andrade, Republican of Pensacola. Quote, the campus activities that would be at all discussed or considered by this bill are campus activities conducted by administration and professors in their position of role of power over students on that campus. Student activities not included. That's what the author of the bill stated. However, hold on. Representative Henson wasn't buying it. She said, quote, of course, he answered that it would be zero effect on operations of student activities, student programs, multicultural centers, Black student centers, Latino student centers, or any activity related to students, although the bill itself seems to impact all of those different activities. A member of a sorority herself, Henson, said her interpretation of the bill is that it could also impact the way Black sororities and fraternities operate on campus. On the committee floor, Andrade assured Henson that the bill does not impact Black sororities or fraternities or their ability to hold social justice events, among other activities. Andrade went on to say that other groups could be impacted. Purely faculty advisory committees, obviously, that would be included, but advisors to specific student groups are not permitted at all to continue being advisors to those student groups, Andrade said. That does impact Black fraternities and sororities, because the advisors for these fraternities and sororities are faculty members. Henson said the bill's language may have a larger impact on advisors of any student-led group or activities tied to diversity, equity, and inclusion. She went on to tell him, quote, frankly, faculty that is paid by the university may not be able to be faculty advisors to these groups. They won't be. Even if they will,
This is going to intimidate them and create a chilling effect, end quote. No amendments to the bill has been adopted. Its next stop is Higher Education Appropriations Subcommittee. In addition to that article, I found another article where now members of the Divine Nine at FAMU have gotten involved because FAMU, which is an HBCU, is a state school. FAMU, let me think, is the only state school in Florida that's an HBCU. Let me think. Edward Waters, no. Bethune Cookman, no. Florida Memorial, no. Am I missing an HBCU? No. Yeah, FAMU is the only HBCU in Florida that is a state school. So here we go. Feeling censored and powerless, various members of Florida A&M University's National Panhellenic Council, also known as the Divine Nine, Greek-lettered organization, banded together Monday in opposition of House Bill 999. House Bill 999 is regarded by many as an addition to Governor Ron DeSantis' ongoing effort to control higher education. This bill dictates what courses college students can pursue by prohibiting courses involving race and gender. The bill also prohibits government spending on activities that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, and expands the Board of Governors appointees' power by giving those appointed rights in the faculty hiring and process and allowing them to review a tenured professor at any time. I don't need to go any further because it goes into details. I don't have much time left, but it goes into detail about how several members of the Divine Nine went and spoke at the Bills Committee hearing yesterday. Yes. Here's the deal. Before I get to fraternities and sororities, let me tell you, I went to a PWI. Before I get to fraternities, sororities, HBC, all of that, I went to a PWI. And we had the BSU, the Black Student Union. And as a Black student at my PWI, I cannot even begin to tell you how much we needed the Black Student Union, how much we could not have made it without a Black Student Union, how much adversity we had to face on a daily basis that without we had what the Black Student Union House, which was the house on campus where it was designated, the school designated that as space for the Black Student Union. So it was the BSU house, and we would go to the BSU house, and that's where we would go and congregate and can just be us and could talk about things. And if we had to tell each other, hey, watch out for this, or this is happening, or we need to go and speak out and protest about this, or we needed to go, or this is this fraternity or sorority is having this on this day, or this club is having this on this day. We had several organizations outside of the fraternities and sororities that were geared toward diversity, equity, and inclusion, specifically toward Black students. We had every major had a group that was designed for the Black students. So if you were a business major, there was I forgot the name of the group that was it was a club or organization for Black students who were business majors. And then just about every major, the engineering, the Black engineering students, the Black music students, we had something like that all over the campus so that we could have a place where we knew we could be heard, where we knew that we would be appreciated, we would be accepted, and that we could unite and, galvanize around our own causes and hear our own voices. And so when you couple that, and that was at a PWI, now you couple that with being at a HBCU, there are tons of courses that's embedded into the fabric of that institution that speak to diversity, inclusion, and equity. that you're now saying you can't offer there. In addition to all of that, the Divine Nine is at every is I shouldn't say every school, but at all schools, white, black, blue, and purple, whether they be HBCU, whether they be PWI. And the Divine Nine all have advisors. The advisors for, and I'm not saying at every school they're a member of the faculty, but at most schools, the advisor to that fraternity or sorority in a lot of cases is a member of the faculty. It's designed that way so that they could go there and they had an advisor that was right there on campus that at any point they could go to and if they needed help or if a situation was going on with that fraternity or sorority. And so now you've made this law would make it where that can't happen anymore. This law also would say if you go by the right now, the author is going to say, "Oh no, that's not what we're going to do with it." But if we are interpreting it that way before you even put this bill out, when the bill is out, when the toothpaste is out of the tube and that bill is law, some other racist fucktard is going to interpret it that way as well. And what they're going to do is they're going to make it so that it becomes the most heinous thing you could think about. Any program, oh, you got a black student union? Nope, you can't have that no more. Oh, you got a Latino, a coalition of Latino, Latinx people? Nope, you can't have that. Oh, you got an AAPI group? Nope, you can't have that, boo. Oh, you want to have a fraternity house for your black letter fraternity that's all about diversity, inclusion, and no. And that's just not Divine Nine, because Divine Nine are not the only fraternities and sororities that are about diversity and inclusion. Think of there's Sigma Lambda Beta and Sigma Lambda Gamma. Hey, love Blake. Those are that's a Latino fraternity and a Latina sorority. You think they don't have none? They have fraternities and sorority geared toward AAPI. So you are you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I want to see what the coalition of the the National Panhellenic Council, NPHC. I want to see what they do. Now, y'all galvanized around getting the show Sorority Sisters. Remember that show Sorority Sisters, Sorority Women, Sorority something that Mona Scott Young tried to unsheath, and it lasted all of 1.5 episodes before the Divine Nine, mainly the Deltas, said, "You don't believe that shit?" And that shit was immediately canceled. I want to see what the coalition of NPHC is going to do. Now, here's some inside information. I'm a member of a fraternity. You all know that. And my fraternity has this national convention this year in the state of Florida, in Tampa. And there's a coalition of our membership that said we want to boycott Florida and not go there. Now that's not possible because we do contracts 5 years in advance. If we pull out, we could face millions of dollars um in costs to do that. But then we would probably not have a place to meet because there'd be no other city that would be ready to take on an organization the size of my organization this close to, just a couple months, a few months before the convention. So that might not work. But I want to know, since they're going to be here, I'd love to see the Divine Nine come together and really push back on this bill and the attack that Ron DeSantis has on all things diversity, equity, and inclusion. We just have to at this point because I think the Divine Nine has been negligent and derelict of duties in that they've sat idly by and allowed this stuff to just go out there, and they've been real quiet about it. They haven't been really speaking out about it, but now you have to. It's directly affecting you. So I'm really curious to see
how this goes. I will keep you all posted. I know I got to get out of here because really be getting ready to go live. She probably already started her intro music. So if you're getting ready to go there, y'all, I'm got hot. Anyway, y'all, I'm about to get out of here. I'm gonna keep my eyes on this, y'all, and I'll keep y'all posted on this. Put some shondos in the chat before we get out of here. Put some shondos in the chat before we get out of here. Listen, y'all, where's Quintessential? Quintessential, if you're still in here or if you're watching the replay, this is what your contribution to the snack fund got us. That is 2.25 pounds of gummy worms. A lot of gummy worms. That's what Quintessential got me with her contributions to the snack fund yesterday. Thank you, my love. Listen, y'all. Hey, Vovo. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, person, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They're much obliged and much appreciated. Listen, two things I want y'all to take away from this that we definitely going to keep track of. Rasheem Carter. Definitely going to keep that. Rasheem Carter. And this Florida HB 999. I definitely want to see where what the NPHC does about that, because that's going to be a problem, a real problem. So we about to go over there to really be y'all. Let's go around there. She got a lot to talk about. We're gonna be over there. I'll be in the bushes sniping. People don't look for me in the comment section. I just be in the bushes sniping. So anyway, that's all I got for y'all. Until next time, thank you for coming. Y'all drive safely. We out.